We're gonna do highlighting and contouring, the ins and outs, the how-to. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Sarah. If you're a returning viewer, hello. Class is in session. So today is the real tea, the real scoop on how to highlight and contour your face accordingly. Now this is my face with my eyebrows done and one layer of foundation. As you can see, everything is evened out, has color, but there's no dimension to the face here. So first, what is the difference between bronzer and contour? A lot of times they are used interchangeably. You're gonna say, oh, I'm bronzing my face, or I'm contouring, but you're really using a bronzer shade. So what is the difference? The difference is bronzer is supposed to be a warmer brown, and it's supposed to warm up your skin. You can put it everywhere on your face if you really wanted. So bronzer is just warming up the skin. It can have shimmer, it can have warm tones. That's what bronzer is. So you would put it all along your cheeks, because when you get sunburned, the places are your nose, your forehead, your cheeks. So that's where bronzer goes on the face. Any points that are sticking out that the sun hits first. So what does that mean for contour? What is contour? Contour is sculpting the face. This is where you shape the face, you give the face dimension. Contouring technically should be a cool tone color, because naturally shadows are cool toned. They're darker, you know, so contour goes everywhere where you naturally have a shadow. A lot of people get them mixed up and maybe wonder what the difference is. So that is the difference. Can get away with contouring the face with warm shades, but technically it should be with a cool tone shade if you really want to sculpt the face. I like to highlight everything first. So when I use concealer, I'm using concealer to brighten, to bring forward, and use concealer to highlight the face as well. But when we're talking contour and highlighting, we're talking about brightening, pushing outwards, highlighting features. So when you're highlighting with concealer, this shade needs to be 2 shades lighter. And to get even more brightness, which I think is what a lot of people are actually looking for, the trick isn't using more concealer, it's using a undertone of like a peachy shade to get that brightness out more. So you can use a peach shade and then you can go in with a concealer to brighten it to your natural undertone. You don't want to use more concealer, you'd want to use a better color for the effect that you're going for. So for me, I have some darkness on my face that I'm going to lift with the concealer, and I'm gonna put it here. Right here, there's lines naturally, our smile lines, so I wanna bring them forward, so I put it there. Now, if you have under eye bags or you have shadows here, darkness sunken in, you wanna put concealer on the bags. For me, I'm just gonna put it here because I'm brightening this area of my face. And the reason I'm brightening this area is because I want the contour to be noticeable on my nose. And another place that I really want to bring forward is underneath my eyes. This helps shape the eyes even more. It gives a cat eye effect, so I'm going to bring that part forward. By bringing this forward and pulling the cheek in, you get a bigger cheek look. So now, another place I could highlight is my forehead. I could put just a little bit here. If you don't want to make your forehead look larger, don't put so much concealer there to highlight. Another place that you can highlight and bring forward is right under the cheekbone. So you can see I naturally have a cheekbone right there, so I'm putting the concealer under, and what that's gonna do is bring this portion of my face outwards, which will make my contour look more deep. So it just adds even more dimension than if I were to just contour. I'm gonna take a brush to blend out the concealer. I feel like it goes a longer way, it thins it out, and it really presses it into the skin, because you don't want these things to just be sitting on top of your skin. Otherwise, it's really noticeable. And for me, as a makeup artist, and I like my makeup natural, I want it to appear very natural, even though it's not natural. So I'm gonna blend it out with a brush. And I don't go out too much farther than where I placed it, okay? So you don't wanna go crazy and just put it everywhere. Spread it out, but keep pressing it into where it needs to be. So this is already lifting that part of my face because it's brighter. And now I'm gonna brighten this area. There was a shadow there because I have a natural laugh line, but now it has kind of disappeared because the illusion of the brightness, bringing it forward. Okay, and then I'm just gonna go along the side of my nose. I want this side to appear bright and outwards because I'm gonna contour the nose. So I'm just brightening this area. I'm just gonna press this in. And I don't like to put any on the bridge of my nose because I don't want it to be too heavily contoured. So whenever you see me do this, this is why. I'm really highlighting this section of the face. And sometimes if I feel like it's too much, I can just grab a sponge. But I always keep that line. It's just gonna help bring that out, bring that shape out. And when you blend this, make sure to blend it down. So see, since I highlighted underneath, you can kind of see it already creating a shadow because the eye notices that there's a difference between the light and the dark area. So this is called a reverse contour. So this is the face with just highlight on, and you can see all the areas I put the concealer pop out a little bit more than the areas with just foundation. Before, the face was really flat with just foundation, no dimension, and now it's popping in certain places, but it still doesn't have that dimension. Dimension isn't finished because you need to contrast with dark color. So this is where contouring is gonna come in. For me, I do use a warm shade because I don't want it to look like super shadows. I just want it to be a little more chiseled than the rest of my face. So I'm gonna go in with this Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation stick. I love this for my cream contour. And you guys, the reason why I use cream contour for contouring is because it's really easy for placement. I feel like there's less room to mess up. There's less room for skipping. A lot of times people have a problem with the bronzer becoming, the contour or bronzer becoming too muddy or it's skipping over in places. So with cream contour, you really avoid that problem. And you can be very intentional about the way you are placing your contour on when it's with cream contour. Just has a natural look overall. It may seem like a lot, but it is more natural looking in the end. I'm gonna do a thin line, you guys. Be sparing with this because when you blend, it's gonna expand. So I just do, most people are gonna tell you from the ear and down, and that is naturally where my cheek is. You can also feel, that doesn't really do anything for me, but you can feel your cheekbone where it indents. So that's where I'm gonna put the line. And you don't wanna go into your face because then it becomes too masculine. So you want to keep it to the outer edges of your face. And then I'm going to go underneath the chin. Again, if you have something that you want shadows and pressed back, that's where you're going to add the contour. So naturally the face has a contour here, a shadow. So that's where I place the product. For the nose, you want to follow your natural shape. So I always do the tip for a more up nose, and then you follow where your eyebrows are and down. You can see the ends of your nose, so just follow your natural nose. To take it next level, which is what I like to do, and lift the eyes even more, I put some right here. And this is also gonna make the face slimmer because it's really gonna push it in right there. And last but not least, I think even if you have a small forehead, you always need to put contour on the forehead because it just blends in with everything else. Everything's gonna look funny if you have shadows and brown everywhere, but the forehead is missing it. Naturally, most people's foreheads are darker because the sun naturally always hits your forehead first. So you just wanna make sure you place that there too. And I like to use a very dense brush. And I'm just gonna press it into where I put it. And the brush kind of does all the work. And see how the contour is expanding now? And I don't go past my eye. I wanna keep it very in line. This one, just follow where you put it. I really just stick the brush there and let it do its magic all the way to the hairline. So it really appears slimmer on this side. Don't forget this. I tend to forget these a lot. And this one, you want to bring it as far down as possible to avoid any shadows or people seeing it in person. If you want even more of a jawline, you could put the contour on the actual line on your face. I put mine underneath my jawline. So it really depends what you're trying to get rid of, what you're trying to push back, and how far, how high. So you really want to make sure you blend this in because it could be very, very obvious in person. This is definitely a step you can skip if you're doing your everyday makeup. But if you want to learn how to contour, then definitely do not forget that portion. When you press in the makeup, you're pressing it into the skin. And that's why you want to be careful with placement. See, I can brush to get it out more, but then I want to stick it into the skin. Blend it in, blend it in. This one just all the way along the hairline, all the way along the hairline. If you don't want to put the contour here, you feel like it's too much, it's too obvious, you can always put it on the sides of your forehead instead, right here, right where your arch is. Just to slim the face, slim the forehead. So that's where I used to bronze, is right here. That's a very natural place to do it as well because your forehead naturally dips off and goes slimmer there. But for me, I want to lift my eye, I want to lift my whole entire face. So that's why I like to put it right here. I don't do like the most technical contour on my nose. I just follow my natural nose shape. So you can make it skinnier if you want. And I just drag this little angle brush down along my nose. And see how it's kind of blends into that concealer I put, and it just has like the perfect blend. So that's why I put the concealer there, so the two kind of blend into each other, and it doesn't look too noticeable. And just make sure you get down here. And I just leave the middle like that. I don't need it to pop out anymore. I don't want it to look super pinched. I just want it to have a little more shape and to match the rest of my face with the shadows. So this is with contour, cream contour. And it's really given my face dimension. The thing with contour is you only want to do it where you need it, where your natural bone structure allows for you to do it, because if you're copying people's contouring and you don't have the same face shape as them, it's not going to look that great on you. So you have to be very aware of what your bone structure is like. So that's why I follow my natural nose bridge, I follow my cheekbones. Make sure you blend contour upwards, because if you blend it down, you're gonna be making the face, you're gonna make it bigger. It's not gonna be a good look, and that's how it gets really muddy on the side of your face. So you wanna create that very nice line and blend it in so it goes upwards. Otherwise, once you go down, you've pretty much dragged the whole face down and you've really defeated the purpose of contouring. The nose is like the only unnatural thing, sort of. But this is how you contour and highlight with cream products. I think it looks the best. I think it's easiest to do. It's really easy to get the hang of contouring with the cream product because it blends so easily. You have better control with the placement. So some products I recommend is obviously the one I use, Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation Stick. This is such an amazing product. It really is. It glides so well. It blends really well. It's just a great formula. Another one for my oily girls is Fenty Beauty Match Sticks. I use the colors Taupe and Mocha. Both look great. One is more cool tone, one is more warm. But these are really good for people who are oily because they definitely are more matte. They don't budge. They're very precise because the formula is much drier. You can also use, this is a very natural one. This is RCMA Cream Color Foundation. They're all foundations, but you can use them to highlight and contour. You can use concealer. So this is a MAC palette. This is Studio Fix Concealer, but it's just in a palette. And you can get darker colors, and you can use these to cream contour, which is a great option. This is a dry formula as well, so this will be better for people with oily skin. And also, last but not least, you can just use concealer. So I have the same concealer here that I use to highlight and brighten in a darker shade. You can do that. You can use a matte concealer for the cream contour. Always make sure it's matte for the most part. You don't really want your contour to be shiny and reflecting light, because if the contour is reflecting light, it's kind of defeating its purpose of being in the shadows. You know what I mean? So bronzer can reflect light. You look glowy, healthy with some color, but contour, you don't want it to have shimmer, sparkles. You don't want it reflecting light because it defeats the purpose of being more sunken in, more of a shadow. I like to set my face from here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do that really quick. You can't go like this. You can't, girl. You can't. I know some people are gonna feel attacked. You can't go like this because you're destroying all the work, all the placement you just did. So placement and makeup go hand in hand. So if you want great makeup and you learn placement, you have to be very careful with what you're doing. You have to be very intentional. You can't just be like, I know a lot of people want to do that because it's quick and easy, but pressing in the makeup will make it last longer, will make it blend into the skin better. It'll make the makeup work for you. So all I need is light powder just to set it, especially for the people who don't like shiny, dewy, luminous makeup. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in with contour or bronzer. So this is where it gets kind of like, people get confused because this is a bronzer, but I use it to contour. It's a more warm shade. It's kind of neutral actually. This is e.l.f. Forever Sunkissed. This is almost on the neutral side. It's matte. And like I said earlier, whenever you're contouring, you wanna make sure it's matte. You don't wanna use any shiny, shimmery products. So I just kind of go over what I did with the cream contour. And there's so many options for powder contour, powder bronzer. A lot of them will be called bronzer because they have warm undertones. And it does look fine, but anything that's orange, avoid it. Avoid anything orange. Warm is okay, orange is not okay. And all the work is pretty much done because all the placement is done. And if you want to set the highlight with something, also just get something a little bit lighter, couple shades lighter, and place it underneath your eyes and the places you want to bring forward. So this would be great for right here. The last thing with powder contour that I want to show you guys is your nose. So the nose is fine like this. To most people, it's totally fine like this, but I'm just going to set it with powder just to make sure it stays on. And again, I'm just gonna follow where I put the cream. Keep it close. But contouring is not just for the face, it can also be for your eyes. So I always like to make sure I lock in that contour I did with the cream right here in my eye, because it just lifts the eye, pushes it back and up. It really provides this lifting motion. This is really gonna help shape the nose as well. Putting it in this little pocket really elongates and pinches the nose together without even putting the makeup on the nose. So just try to examine your face, examine your bone structure, and see where these shadows need to go for you. But these are just the basics for them. You can even contour your lips. I didn't do that this time. But that's it pretty much. I'm gonna pop on some mascara. Blush is like highlight and contour's little sister. Like, don't forget about her. So next you can do a highlighter with a shimmer. You can highlight your face with shimmer. I'm going to use a liquid highlighter. This is great because it's really skin-like. I think you could totally skip this step. I don't think highlighter is that necessary because we highlighted the face with a lighter shade already. But if you like that shimmer, you like that sparkle, here she is, girl, just for you. So I'm just gonna use my finger, pop it on the high points. Where I see my cheek is highest right there. Above my eyebrows is a really pretty dimensional place to put it. Along the top of the nose. If you want it to be more discreet, keep it towards the top and the end of the nose. chin if you want your chin to be more bright. Lips if you want them to pop. And I will show you powder highlighter just because we are here. But for this, you guys, please use very little. It's so not necessary. So I'm gonna use a really fluffy brush here. Just gonna use some MAC ones. These are really nice because they're very skin-like if they're put on correctly. And you just wanna put the same place. Same place. I'm having the lightest hand with this. Little bit. She looks very natural. Another way to make highlighter look even more natural, you guys, like, oh, my skin is just like this, is to get that sponge and bounce it out, bounce it into the skin. Pounce, 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 blend it into that skin. So that's it on highlighting and contouring and a little bit of bronzing. So I hope you guys learned something new today, and let me know if you like these instructional how-to videos because I'm ready to do more. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!
Oh shit.